And that is the whole point of insurance. That's the whole point of insurance. You're really protecting against the what if, the unknowns, the unexpected things that can happen. So you want to make sure that if something happens and you can no longer go on that trip, you're not going to lose your money. You are going to be able to claim back so that you are not at a loss of your financial investment. That is one side of insurance. The other side are all of the benefits for you, the traveler, while you are on the vacation. So once the travel or once the trip has actually started. Um, we have three different plan options. I'm going to go through them quickly with you. We have a good option, the essential. That's kind of the lead in, a basic plan. We have a better option, which is our deluxe plan. That's kind of a mid-tier. And then we have the best. That's our platinum plan. That's going to give you the maximum coverage available. So the essential, the deluxe, and the platinum plan. So there's a lot on this screen, but there's a few features of insurance that you need to kind of understand, especially if you're comparing different policies and which is going to be the right plan for you. A couple of the main features. So I just talked about protecting your dollar amount so that if you need to cancel your trip before you go, or also interruption, meaning you go on the trip and then something happens that you need to return home. You have cancellation and interruption included in every plan. So if you see on the left that the list of benefits included, so trip cancellation, the very first one, you'll see on the platinum plan, on the deluxe, and on the essential, you would get back 100% of the protected trip cost under the cancellation benefit. Interruption, you'll see you would get back up to 150% of the trip cost that you have protected on the platinum and on the deluxe. The interruption benefit on essential is 100%. So they are always those where it says 100%, that's tied to the trip cost. So again, you will tell us how much you're spending on the trip, how much you want to protect. You enter that amount, and then you have the cancellation benefit to cover up to 100% of that amount. The other benefits then further on down the list are more of a set amount. So for example, trip delay. This means, you get delayed, you're heading to your destination, but you get delayed. Maybe you need to book a hotel for an extra night, you need to buy food, pay for a taxi, those extra expenses that you could incur when you experience a delay. You will see the delay benefit on the platinum plan. You have up to $200 per day, and that is per person named on the plan. And that benefit is available from the 3-hour mark. So your flight only has to be delayed by 3 hours or more, and you know that you're going to be able to claim those benefits up to the amount. Compare that to the deluxe plan. You still have the trip delay benefit, but it's $150 per day, and it's at a 6-hour timeline. So you're going to have to be delayed a bit longer. The benefit amount is a little bit less. And the same when you move over to the essential plan. The delay benefit is there, but it's up to $100 per day at 12 hours. So that your flight would have to be delayed 12 hours or more before you could claim back the $100 a day delay benefit. Other features like baggage delay, I think John mentioned that at the beginning. You get there, your bag doesn't arrive, you need to purchase additional clothes, personal items, whatever it is. You'll see the baggage delay benefit. Again, platinum is always the highest. You have up to $750 at the 3-hour mark. So again, you don't have to be delayed, or your bag doesn't have to be delayed super long. And after 3 hours, you can go and buy replaced items and file that claim. If you compare that benefit on the deluxe, you have $500 at the 6-hour mark. And on essentials, you only have $200 and it's at 12 hours. And again, that's where the plans will vary in pricing because you're getting higher coverage as you go up through the plans. Now, the big feature of travel insurance, so I mentioned at the beginning, first piece is covering your dollar amount. That falls under that cancellation benefit. The next piece is protecting yourself while you're traveling. The delay, the baggage, those benefits, they're nice to have when you experience delays. But the big feature of travel insurance is being protected for medical situations. So the first one is the medical evacuation and repatriation of remains. Now, it's a fine line with insurance. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but we do, things happen. That is just the nature of life, right? Things happen. Repatriation of remains if if you have a family member that passes away on a trip, the cost of returning their body to the US is super expensive. And no one ever thinks it's going to happen to them. I understand that, but that is what insurance is for. You're protecting against the unexpected. Putting that that pressure on a family can be really financially hard. So having that repatriation benefit is great. Medical evacuation, obviously, that's if someone falls ill, they need treatment or they want to return to the US, but they're not medically able to fly alone. They're going to have to be medically flown back to the US. Again, you can imagine how quickly those bills are going to rise. But you can see that benefit is included in these plans. So you have medical and evacuation or repatriation. On the platinum plan, you have up to $1 million in coverage. On the deluxe plan, you have $500,000 in coverage. And on the essential plan, you have 200. So again, the essential is not necessarily bad, but it is a much lower plan than the other two. My advice, focus on deluxe or platinum. They are the better options. Then you have accident and sickness, again, a little bit further down the list. That is where you need to see a doctor. You have to have a surgery, treatment, medication, anything like that while you are away from home. On the platinum plan, you have $500,000 in primary medical coverage. On the deluxe plan, you have 250,000 in primary medical coverage. And on the essential plan, that is reduced to 50. So again, quite a bit less coverage on the essential. Plus the medical on the essential is secondary medical coverage. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. The difference between secondary and primary, it means, let's say you have to see a doctor, you need medical treatment, you're in Egypt, your medical bill is $5,000. You're claiming on the essential plan, which is a secondary policy. We might ask, you file with travel insured, but we might ask you to file with your US healthcare. Show, will they cover anything? If they do, we'll step in and pay the remainder. If you show that they deny that claim, your US healthcare will not pay for any healthcare in Egypt, which is likely the case. You show the denial, and then we step in as the second payer and pay the full amount. So again, secondary is not necessarily bad, but it does mean there's going to be extra steps at the time of a claim process. Primary medical coverage is just better because we are the primary payer. We pay first. We don't need you to go anywhere else and show a denial. We step in as the first payer. So if you're dealing with a claim situation, primary is the better scenario. Both deluxe and platinum, number one, they're much higher limits, but number two, they are primary medical coverage. A couple of other things to highlight with the plans. The platinum plan covers a maximum trip cost of 150,000 per person. I'm pretty sure the Egypt trip is not quite up to that level. The deluxe plan will cover a maximum of 50,000 trip cost. So I think the deluxe will still work well for your Egypt trip. But there's a couple of big features I want to talk about with insurance. The first is the pre-existing medical condition waiver. Now, oh, sorry, apologies. This means, and I mean, Cliff, I think can correct me. I think you guys might be outside of the window for this. With insurance, ideally, in a best case scenario, you are booking the insurance within a certain time window so that you are covered for any pre-existing known health conditions. You can still purchase insurance at any stage, but you need to understand that if you purchase it later down the line, later in the process, you may not be covered for anything that's pre-existing. You'll still have all of the other coverages. You're still covered for medical emergencies, but if you need to cancel because of a known health condition, that is not covered unless you buy the policy within a certain timeline. For the platinum plan, that is within 21 days of when you pay your initial deposit. For the deluxe plan, it is within 14 days of paying your initial deposit. And a pre-existing condition is really anything that is in your health records. You might have a condition for years, you're completely able to travel, but if you are on medication, maybe your doctor changes medication, anything that is in those medical records is deemed as a pre-existing. So again, we will cover you for everything else. Pre-existing, you just have to book the policy within that time-sensitive window. Another thing I want to touch on with insurance. So I talked about the cancellation coverage. So, you purchase a plan, then you need to cancel the trip. You want to get your money back. It is important that you understand within any plan you purchase, there is going to be a list of covered reasons. So there is a black and white list of what that policy will cover for you. On the Platinum plan, there are 31 covered reasons. The standard things, of course, are covered, like sickness. So, you or a family member gets sick and are unable to travel, or maybe one of your traveling companions gets sick and is unable to travel. That is a covered reason you are able to cancel and get your refund. Things like strikes, if you get called to jury duty, the Platinum plan has coverage for required to work. If you originally had time off and now your employer says you can't have the time off. So there is a very black and white list of everything that is covered in the plan. There's 31 within Platinum. There are 22 covered reasons within Deluxe. So there's a few less covered reasons. And again, that's just important to note because that's why there's price differences in the different coverage. You're getting more coverage as you go up through the plans. Another option that you guys have is you can purchase those policies, the same three. You can look at the Essential, Deluxe, or Platinum. Again, I focus on Deluxe and Platinum because the benefits are just higher, they're better. But if you are more concerned about the medical piece or more concerned about just having the benefits while you are traveling, and you're not so concerned about protecting your dollar amount for whatever reason, maybe you just don't, you want to take that risk or, whatever your reasoning is, you do have a choice when you're searching for the insurance and it asks you about the trip cost. You could enter $0, meaning you're telling us you're not protecting any amount for the trip, but you would be able to receive all of the other benefits. So you would not have cancellation and interruption, but you would have trip delay, you would have baggage, and most importantly, you would have that medical coverage. Price-wise, that is going to be less. When you're not covering a dollar amount, you're just purchasing a post-departure plan. Price-wise, it will be less. You just have to decide what's important to you. Are you willing to take the risk on the cost of on losing the cost of the trip, and you just want to know that you have medical, or do you want to protect the trip cost as well? A couple of other things to just touch on. So you're going to have a choice of adding some additional coverage into the plan. So, you're going to hopefully choose between the Deluxe or the Platinum, whichever coverage you're happier with. From there, you can add some additional bundles. This kind of just gives it a bit more, specific tailor-made coverage. There's a few, but I'm just going to call out the ones that are specific really to you guys. So the first one is cancel an interruption for any reason. So where I just highlighted that the Platinum has 31 covered reasons, the Deluxe plan has 22 covered reasons. Again, it's a black and white list. I can show you where to see it, but that, it's a black and white list. If these things happen, you are covered. However, there are things that can happen outside of that list, right? So adding this extra option of cancel for any reason, it's really giving you, the traveler, that flexibility. You can literally cancel for any reason, and we would protect up to 75% of your trip cost. An example, right? Let's say, I have this all the time with kids on sports teams. All of a sudden, they've started to do really well. Now they're going to get into the final, and it falls over the date of the family cruise vacation. That is not a covered reason to cancel your trip and get your money back. If the family had CFAR, then they would have that choice to cancel and they could get back 75% of their cost. An example of interruption. So interruption means once you are already on the trip and you need to now interrupt and go home. I had it recently where a lady's cousin, she was on a trip in Italy, her cousin in the US passed away. However, a cousin is not a named family member in the plan. So that was not a covered reason to cut her trip and return home. If she had the interruption for any reason, she could have. So that's just giving more peace of mind, more flexibility. Now, this is important. I know people are mentioned at the beginning of the call. There are some things happening in the world right now. Who knows what's going to be happening by November. However, I will tell you, there are no insurance companies that cover war as a covered reason. So right now, if something is happening and people are just nervous, people are maybe worried to travel, But the country is still open, the country is still receiving people, but an individual person is nervous and they just don't want to go there anymore. That is not a covered reason. Nervous, fear is not a covered reason. Having the CFAR option, having that choice to cancel for any reason is the only way to give you peace of mind for those types of scenarios in the future. I will, however, say that this benefit is also time sensitive. So you have to also purchase this within, if you're choosing it for the platinum plan, it is within 21 days of paying your deposit. For the deluxe plan, it's within 14 days of paying your trip deposit. So it's a time sensitive option. We do have a cruise bundle. Again, I'm not quite sure that this is super relevant for you guys, but it adds back to that kind of covered reason for cancellation. This adds some extra reason if the river levels are too high or too low to operate the original itinerary. So again, it's just giving you that extra layer of coverage if the rivers were to drop. Now you can't go on the itinerary. Maybe you're going to miss some countries. Maybe you're going to miss some destinations. It would give you grounds to cancel based on the river being too low. I don't think for most of you guys, the cruise bundle, you need to worry about too much. And then the pet bundle is just an option. This is just something a little bit more unique. This means that if you have animals at home, I know for a lot of people, they're your little fur babies, they're like family members. Maybe some of them you're worried if something was to happen to them, would you still want to travel or would you want to return home if something happened on your trip? Adding the pet bundle gives you extra coverage that if your animal gets sick, gets injured, or passes away, that is now would become a covered reason on your policy once you add the pet coverage. So it's, as I say, it's just for some people, it's maybe relevant, for other people, not at all. And then the final couple of things I just want to highlight. So, for me, travel insurance, yes, your bag is delayed, you have a delay, you're able to get some money back. That is a nice benefit. But the real purpose of travel insurance is more on the medical emergency side. So if something happens, you have 24/7 help and support. So we have full global assistance. You can see the number there. It is 24/7 support. We will get you in touch with someone who is in the region that you are in so that they are more local, they are able to communicate. We can help with translation, with interpretation. We can help advise if you go to a clinic or a hospital, maybe you're not happy, maybe you don't feel that that's where you want to be. We can help move to somewhere that we have a relationship with. A lot of people ask as well about, paying the bill. The most common situation in a medical case, usually, ideally, they're not super extreme. So maybe you just need some stitches, you break an arm, whatever it is. The more common situation is that the traveler will pay the bill, keep all the paperwork, and file their claim. However, sometimes there is more extreme situations. You're talking bigger sums of money. The medical facility won't treat you until you pay up front. That again is where the assistance company will come in. We will work with those medical facilities. We will organize payment and make sure that you can get the treatment that you need. So full 24/7 support. We also have another great service, which is our Blue Ribbon Bag service. This is included in all those plans I mentioned. And this is just kind of a nice to have. It means that if you get to your destination and your bag doesn't arrive, we talked earlier, you have that delay benefit. So you have up to the amount on your plan that you can buy new things. But the Blue Ribbon Bag service, all you have to do is complete that form at the airport. So you document that your bag is delayed, but you give that tracking number to Blue Ribbon and they will do all the work for you. So they will work with the airline, they will find your bag and they will expedite getting it to you. So it is just a really nice added service to have. Especially if you're moving, I think you guys are going to do a couple of days land, then you're going to go on the cruise. So you're moving around, it's harder to plan those logistics. Blue Ribbon will take care of that. So it's just a nice service to have if you are experiencing a baggage delay. So that is really kind of the highlights. Cliff, will I open it to questions, I think, right now, and then we can show them the link?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can now open it up for any questions that you guys may have. Um, any questions that you guys have?
And by the way, I have the link available if you want me to share that online so we could probably walk through one
Yes.
example.
Yes, please.
Sure, yeah. If you want to put it maybe even into the chat, and then
Yes.
I can click it on the screen.
I will
I'm
Yes.
definitely
gonna,
do that.
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna,
do that
Yes.
right
I'll
now.
stop
Let's do
sharing
that.
for a second though. I'll get rid of
Okay.
the PowerPoint.
And just to reiterate what
There it
Lisa
is. I just put it in
was
the chat.
saying,
Perfect.
and that is, I had someone from church just recently, about a month ago. I heard about someone from church that traveled to Thailand, and while she was there, she ended up having a stroke. Now she's okay, thank God, but she had a stroke, and she ended up spending about 3 weeks
Yeah.
in the hospital. Now, she didn't have travel insurance, so the time that she spent in the hospital is all on her own
Um,
expenses.
yeah.
So I have not. I had. She has not been back at church, so I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't really checked on that. But the point here is, you want to make sure that you are covered, because when you're overseas, you just don't know.
Yeah. And
And
that's one thing I should have said as well, Cliff. And I kind of referenced,
yeah,
your US healthcare.
yes,
99% of the time, even if you have healthcare here in the US, it is not going to cover international healthcare. So as soon as you leave the continental US, your plan is not, it's not going to work in a foreign country.
right,
And even if maybe you have a plan that might have some features, again, it's very unlikely to have medical evacuation, to have repatriation, to have those things. And that's the nature of insurance. We're not trying to scare anyone. We're not trying to make you nervous. It's a reality. We're just being realists.
correct,
Things happen.
correct,
And I always joke, you buy insurance and you don't need to use it. That's the best case scenario, right? That means nothing happens. It means nothing went wrong. But having it there, having that peace of mind, and knowing that if something happens to you or your loved ones, you're going to have help and support, and you're not going to have that financial pressure. So, you're spending money on a trip, budget for a little bit extra so that you are protecting your money and you're protecting yourself.
yes. Well, as the saying says, we hope for the best, but we plan for the worst. So we let that sink in. We hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Yeah.
Um,
Anthony has a question here, Cliff, about
yes.
if the State Department declares a region a high risk, will insurance cover the cancellation? Um, the answer is yes, but it all depends on the government declaration. If they're just advising you maybe not to go, but the country is still open and would accept you, then no. It's only if the government issues a do not travel warning. So, for example, right now, Dubai is struggling, but you can still travel to Dubai if you choose. The same with Mexico. Mexico had some issues when that incident happened in Puerto Vallarta. Some people were nervous to go to Mexico, but Mexico is open and people are able to go. So again, it comes back to that whether you're just nervous to travel or whether the country is under a complete shutdown or not. So the situation, you have to know the exact situation to get a yes or no answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any other questions?
I have a question. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can hear me. My name is Hazel.
Hey.
Um, so what if something happened and the trip is canceled? We get our 100% of our money back? The trip is canceled
Well,
on your end.
well, yes, but again, it will depend on why it was canceled. And that's why I referenced those covered reasons. So
No,
it's the same.
I'm just saying that if for some reason the SDA vacation cancels the trip, do we get
Again, it would come down to, so it depends on whether, our SDA going to give you your money back and then you're made whole and you don't need to file a claim, or are you
right,
losing
that's what I'm
money?
saying, right? If the trip is
Mhm.
canceled by SDA and it's not any fault of ours and the trip is totally canceled because of whatever reason, are we
But
entitled to
again, that's
100%
that's
of
see,
our
that's too
refund?
vague because whatever reason we have to understand the reason because
No,
there's
no,
Right.
it's
Right. Let me just make a point here. SDA Vacations has no intention of canceling the meeting
yeah.
unless the State Department says Egypt is a dangerous place to go.
Right.
And
Right.
that, and
So
as Lisa just said, when that happens, the travel insurance then kicks in because the
Mhm.
Right.
government established a warning not to go there. But if we
Right.
just decided, well, we don't want to go, we just have something else to do, so the phrase whatever reason, as Lisa was
Yeah,
saying, the
well, the
reason
only
has
thing
to be
again,
official. Yeah.
John, I will be very clear though. If they say that you cannot go due to war,
Right.
war is not a covered reason.
Right.
Right.
No insurance company, travel insurance company will cover against war. Now,
Exactly.
that being said, in my experience, if something happens, most times your supplier will just release the funds because the trip
Right.
hasn't happened yet. They
Right.
understand it's not able to happen. So
Right.
again, it's not that I don't anticipate that you would be at a loss because the supplier will work with you. That's what we were seeing, what happened in the Middle East. Cruises in the Middle East couldn't go. So clients were either able to move dates or get their money back from the supplier. So they were not
Right.
at a loss.
Right.
So again, like if it was specifically due to a war, I do want to be very clear. No travel insurance will protect against war. It's too high of a risk.
Right.
But yeah.
Let me
so
give you one
What?
example, Cliff, which is a very good point you made, Lisa. Thank you for that. Those of you, if any of you had been with us when we were going to Israel, and then the war broke out, the people in Israel that were all set for us to come were kind enough to send back half of the funds. That was an unusual situation when that happened. We were on our way, remember, and then we were redirected to Turkey because the war broke out there with the Hamas situation. They didn't have the obligation to do that, but they were kind enough to reimburse us half, and then Vacations reimbursed half of that particular location, but not the
Mhm.
entire trip.
Mhm.
That was something that the people were
And that is
satisfied with.
again, though, back to where the CFAR comes in. Like that is exactly what CFAR or cancel for any reason is designed for.
Right.
Right.
Because that you could file under that for literally any reason. So that is always a choice that people have to add that extra layer, especially if you are traveling to a country that you have some concerns for.
Right.
Yeah.
so if the State Department and the government said, okay, do not travel to Egypt for any reason, do not travel to Egypt, period. Do not go. I'm not saying that when I asked the question, I wasn't asking it, does the insurance covers the cost? The company that we pays the money to, that's what I'm referring to. Do we
Okay.
get
Well,
our money back from that company?
well,
100%.
well, here's what we normally do. They would State Department say at this particular time you cannot travel. We wouldn't advise you to travel. However, what they will say is at this particular time, no, we wouldn't advise you to travel. However, you can travel maybe, let's say, 6 months from now. You you can do it, or maybe 8 months from now, you will have the time, or you'll be safe to travel at that particular time. You see, it all depends. We don't know. But yes, I would say we would talk with our counterpart to see, yes, can we receive the funds or do we reschedule? Now, that is something that we'd have to talk with our counterparts with because we basically make a decision coming from them. So yes, they would say, okay, I knowing them, they would say we would reschedule it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I've seen in the space with
Yes, they would
everybody, especially right
reschedule.
now in the Middle East. It's either, yeah, reschedule or cancel and return the
Right,
funds.
Right.
right. It's
Yeah.
one of the two.
Cliff, I'm just conscious of the time, so I'm gonna jump into the get a quote and show people just the information they need to get a
Oh,
quote.
yes,
So you
yes.
can see
Let's
the
move over.
screen, right?
Yes, let's move over to the.
Yes. So this one it's your link, so you can see your name is up top, so it is affiliated with you guys. So you just
Yes,
hit get a quote. So keep it as the single trip and hit get a quote.
get a quote. Let's take a look.
So it's asking where you're going. So we'll put
Egypt,
in Egypt. The dates of the trip. So you're in November, right?
November. Yes, let's say I believe November. Well, we'll say it's 18th to the
Something like
third.
that.
November
19.
18th to the 30th. No, no, you want to say 18th because
18, okay.
You want to be covered from the day you step out of your house to
Yes, the day you leave home.
the day you leave home till the day you get back. You get back on, we're hoping the 30th. Well, you can say
Yeah, the day you depart and the day you're
yes,
due to land back home.
yes,
Okay, so this might be different for everybody. I'm just going for just for the example, put in today's date as paying my deposit today. Please, though, when you are individually looking, please make sure you have your correct date as to when you paid your deposit.
yes.
Then you will enter the traveler details. You don't even need the zip. Oh, sorry, you do. I was going to say,
Yeah,
okay, I'll put in Florida where I am.
right.
At this point, you will put in your own email, so the traveler email. We do need a date of birth. So I'm just going to put in 51 years for argument's sake. And then kind of roughly, Cliff, what was the trip cost per person?
Average will be about 54.99.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just put in 5,400. This is the trip cost per person. So this is where I talked about at the beginning, protecting your financial investment. So that if something happens and you don't go on the trip, you're able to file and claim back up to that amount. So that's per person. At this point, you can add companions. So obviously, if you're doing it for a spouse, you have a family, you can add additional people here. And the
Right.
same, it will ask for the date of birth and the trip cost per person as you add people. For
Right.
time, I'm just going to keep it to one, hit save,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just hit get a quote.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to see lots of different options available. But bringing your attention back to what I talked about earlier, we talked about the essential plan, the deluxe plan, and the platinum plan. You'll see the pricing of the essential is $212. To go up to the deluxe is only about, what's that, about an additional $32.
Mm-hmm.
I would go straight to deluxe. It is much higher coverage, particularly on the medical side compared to the essential plan. So my advice is go between the deluxe or the platinum. At this point, if you already knew which one you wanted, you would just hit select. Or on the left-hand side here, you'll see some of those optional extras that I talked about. I talked about that pet coverage if that's something that's relevant to you. But the big one to highlight is that cancel an interruption for any reason. You'll see you select it and it adds it on over here to each plan. It tells you the price. So if we want that extra peace of mind, that extra flexibility, you add cancel for any reason, that's the new total. If you don't want it, you can just remove it, but you can click in and out and you can look at the pricing of what the different bundles are. At that point, once you decide which plan, if then you want any of the extra bundles, from there you will just hit select the plan that you want. So we'll go with the deluxe. And I mean, from there, you can work with an advisor. To be honest, excuse me. To be honest, you don't really need to do that because once you're clicked into Cliff's link, so once you are using the link sent to you by SDA, you don't need to do that. From here, you can just enter in obviously all of your relevant information. The system will tell you what's required, so it won't let you carry on until you enter the required information. Payment of claims, any beneficiaries. So obviously the primary traveler, but you can add beneficiaries. Maybe if you have a spouse, maybe if you're traveling and you want to put a beneficiary, someone in your family at home, you can do that if you wish. And then you will literally just hit continue to purchase up in the right corner. And at that point, it will ask you for the credit card information. So it is relatively straightforward. The only really thing you're doing is choosing which plan you want and then considering if you want any of those extra coverages added to the plan. You hit proceed, and then you're just entering your personal information and completing the payment transaction. So it should be very straightforward. As I say, my advice, look at deluxe and platinum. Plus, if any of you guys are traveling with minors, so children 17 or under, I don't know, are there any kids planned on the trip, Cliff?
I haven't seen any. So, well,
Okay.
let me take that back. There are two coming. Sorry.
Okay, so if that's the case for anyone, you have minors. Again, both deluxe and platinum are better because we don't charge for minors on those plans.
Okay.
So
Thank
another
you.
reason not to look at essential. Focus on deluxe or platinum. It's just going to be better coverage all around.
Okay. Perfect.
But as I say, I'm going to probably wrap up here in just a minute. Feel free to reach out to Cliff with any specific questions. He can come back to me if you need clarification. But
Yes.
the whole point of insurance is really just you want to protect against the unexpected. Yes, you don't want to lose your trip costs, the money you're spending, that's one piece of it. For me personally, the bigger piece is having all of that protection while you are traveling internationally. Again, if nothing happens, that's great. That's what we want. But if something does happen, it really is priceless to have that help, that support, and that financial backing if you're dealing with some kind of a medical emergency situation, particularly in a country like Egypt. There's going to be language barriers, there's going to be differences in the healthcare that's offered. You want to have help and support if you're dealing with a situation like that. And for me, that's the purpose of insurance. It's protecting you when you are away from home. So hopefully you found this helpful. As I said, please feel free to reach out to Cliff with any additional questions. I'm happy to answer them. You are very welcome to call in to Travel Insured. We have a dedicated customer care line. Let me actually type that number into the chat. That way
Thank
you
you.
can call in. You can have, if you have a particular thing that you're concerned about or you want to talk to us about, please feel free to call in and have a one-on-one conversation. Our whole team are obviously licensed insurance agents. And that's another thing, with Cliff as being your travel professional, not a licensed insurance agent. So, he's not going to be able to answer specifics. That's up to me
Right.
or up to our team. So my
Right.
advice, if you have something that you're like, well, what if this happens or what if this happens? Just a quick phone call. As I say, we're all US based. You'll speak to someone here in the US. They are licensed. They can give you more guidance and more concrete answers so that we can take care
Perfect.
of what you need.
Okay. Well,
Awesome.
And by
on
the way,
that
before
note,
Lisa goes,
hello.
by the way, before
Hello?
Lisa goes, those of you that are watching, this is being recorded, so you could look at this later on and go
yes.
through it slowly. It'll be on
Yeah,
the
look at those
Sdavacations
slides and different
website.
things. Yeah, yeah.
May I ask one quick question before you go?
Yes,
The
yes, sure.
basic for the deluxe is you said around 250-ish.
Well,
Um,
that depends because I put
Depends.
in a person that was age 51.
Depends.
right.
Depends.
Insurance is an age-based product, so it will depend on how much trip cost you're covering and the age of the
Correct.
person.
Yes.
So that's why you
Correct.
have to be specific.
What was the one for the platinum?
Let me go back. Let's see if it'll just go back. Yeah. Platinum was 338.
338.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like the deluxe I mentioned, you're getting 250,000 medical coverage on deluxe. You're getting 500,000 on platinum. So, you're getting higher coverage on platinum. But I do believe that deluxe is still a good plan. You do have very good coverage on deluxe. Platinum is just the highest we offer. So it depends on what levels are important to you.
All right.
Hello, can I ask a question here?
Yes, sure, go ahead.
Is there a cutoff date as to when to purchase that insurance?
So, yeah, great question. Honestly, there's not. You can purchase insurance right up until the day before departure. Whenever you buy insurance, it becomes active at a minute past midnight that night. So the latest you can buy it for your trip is the day before your departure. If you would still be covered for everything in the plan at that point, with the exception of that pre-existing medical coverage and the CFAR option. You wouldn't have the option to add CFAR that late, but you would still have everything else and you would still have medical coverage while you travel. The
But
thing with medical coverage when you travel, I should also say, so even if you did have a pre-existing condition, you buy the insurance later on and then you go on the trip and something happens.
21 days before you leave, get the pre-text covered.
You are still covered for medical emergencies, provided that you are medically fit and able to go on the trip. So that's always the thing too. We would look for medical records, and if there was a reason, if we discovered that a doctor advised you not to go and you still traveled, that wouldn't work. But once you were fit and medically able to go on the trip, if you had a medical emergency, you're covered.
but
Okay.
there are some things we will not be able to apply for because those are between 14 to 21 days. after your initial deposit, which
Correct.
most of us had paid months ago.
Most of you were there. So then, yeah, it's just
So,
understanding that you're not covered for pre-existing conditions in relation to cancellation, meaning, you have an illness or something medical. If you don't, if you're out of the time window, that's not a covered reason to cancel then. And the same with CFAR, that cancel for any reason. It's a choice that, you don't have to have that. That's a choice. But if you
Mhm.
want it, you have to do it within the time period again. Yeah, those two features. But you
Correct.
could still purchase later and then still have everything else that's in the policy.
Lisa, one question that people might be noticing on each of these plans, there's a little asterisk that says cancel for any reason. Could you specify that? Because we said earlier the reason has to be the following. What does that mean when it says cancel for any reason?
Reason is that optional extra, that you're adding extra flexibility, and we will give you up to 75% back. There is always like verbiage to every benefit. So cancel for any reason, you have to cancel 48 hours before departure under that benefit. If you're trying to avail of that benefit, you have to cancel the trip 48 hours prior to departure.
Okay.
So again, like it just means you couldn't cancel that morning under the cancel for any reason benefit. You have to invoke that benefit at least 48 hours before departure.
Got it.
Yeah, so that is unfortunately that's just the reality of insurance. There's always going to be an explanation of each benefit and verbiage associated to it. When you purchase a plan, you will receive a full plan document. So it is detailed in there. I mean, I know unfortunately not everyone will read it and it's quite a long document, but there is always going to be a black and white explanation of what's covered. The same CFAR if you add it, it's there, but you have to cancel 48 hours prior to departure to be able to use that to claim that benefit. So if
Okay.
you think that's something that's going to happen, I would just, reach out to Cliff or reach out to us at Travel Insured
Yes.
and we can give direction. Yeah.
Yeah, hello. I came in a little bit late. What exactly is the CFAR?
CFAR is cancel for any reason. So when you buy a plan, if you buy a deluxe plan on its own, there are 22 covered reasons to cancel. If you buy the platinum plan, there are 31 reasons to cancel. Adding the cancel for any reason means you literally can cancel for anything. Because that's the thing with insurance, we want you to have it and be protected, but it doesn't cover every single possible scenario under the sun. It covers what's written in the policy. So adding CFAR, adding cancel for any reason, is giving you, the traveler, just more flexibility. It gives you the choice of canceling.
And by the way,
Is it per person? So yeah, if you're putting two people on a policy, you would add CFAR for everyone that's listed on the policy. So if you're doing it on your own, it would just be for you. But if you're doing a family all on the one policy and you add CFAR, it's adding it for everybody.
and Lisa,
That's
by the
fine.
way, just to make sure so that they know, even though each of these protections has a different price, and the phrase cancel for any reason is in that, you have to literally click purchase
Yes.
add-ons.
Yes, you select it over here on the left. So,
Right.
You can see it. It adds on the additional coverage.
Right. So
Right.
if you don't click that, you can't cite the phrase in the plan, cancel for any reason.
Correct. Yes, if you don't add it. And again, it's time
Yes.
sensitive. So if you paid your deposit several months ago, CFAR is off the table. You can only have CFAR within 21 days of deposit for the platinum plan or within 14 days of deposit for the deluxe. So again, when it comes time to putting in your initial deposit date, if I can go back here and say we paid our deposit, last December and I update the quote.
Okay, that's what's becoming very confusing to me because I
Mhm.
paid my deposit way earlier than 21 days.
And
So
we're giving us this information.
Yeah. So unfortunately, in that case, D, CFAR is not an option for you.
But we paid our deposit maybe like months ago, and then months later we are being told that we only had 21 days to purchase it, which is why we were not told that information, earlier.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's you can still purchase insurance, absolutely. That particular add-on is not going to be available.
But all
Yeah.
the rest of it is available.
Yes, absolutely. Everything else that's
Mhm.
in the plan, the covered reasons within Platinum,
Mm.
the covered reasons within Deluxe, you have all of that coverage.
So when I type in that I actually made my deposit last
Mm.
January, I believe,
Yeah.
they'll still insure me. I just can't get canceled for any
Yes.
reason. Is that
Yes. If
correct?
you see on, I don't know if you can see the screen D, but I've changed the deposit date and you'll see here this
Okay.
the message pops up that it's not available. So the system won't let you have
Mhm.
it based on your deposit date. The
Mm.
Okay.
system will
Thank
tell
you.
you. Yeah. Okay. Well, I am
So
going to leave you guys. Thank you so much for your time and for having me
All
on to
right.
talk to you today. As I say, you have Cliff and
All
I
right. Thank
typed
you.
in the customer care number. Please feel free to call us directly if you want to have a more one-to-one conversation.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yes. Yes.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Lisa, for
Thank you guys. Thanks,
thank
Cliff.
you.
Take care, everybody.
All
Bye-bye.
right. All right. Thank you, Lisa, for that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that information.
Okay,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Can
Now,
you, Cliff, I can't
yes,
remember when I actually made my deposit, but I know there was a deadline that you got a discount if you made it prior to. Was that the end of December, the end of January? I can't remember.
was
Do
the end
you?
of January.
it was the end of January.
Okay.
Yes.
So when they ask me when I made my deposit, I just say January.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was January 31st.
Okay, so
Okay.
let me make a point here,
Yes.
which we all became aware of something that Lisa just shared with us. For those of you, this meeting is an insurance meeting. Cliff, let me ask a question. Um, if the people wanted the CFAR cover for any reason,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm following correctly, it's only available 21 days before the trip,
Before
21
the trip.
days and closer. So from
Right.
21,
Well,
20.
no, it's 20. You have to buy that insurance within
Well,
21 days of when you actually made your deposit.
Okay,
Right.
but
So
listen
we
carefully. But
made our
listen
deposit
carefully.
in
D,
January.
wait.
listen carefully,
Listen.
D.
Wait.
That's what I'm trying to
Let me
say here.
finish.
Let me finish here.
Let me
Um,
finish.
if they were to put a deposit date differently than when they gave you the money, would they be able to get the CFAR? Because
Hmm.
well, the
Then
reason
that's
I'm saying that is because uh, if I'm feeling this, people
Mm-hmm.
probably say I'd like to have the CFAR,
Mm-hmm.
but my deposit was given a long time ago. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm disqualified for the CFAR, which puts me at a greater liability.
done, but
So
that's done, and that's we'll be lying about a date.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So the key would be, are you just saying since they deposited way early, then that CFAR is no longer available?
Pretty
That's based on
much.
what Lisa is saying.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
in that case, most of the people that are on that trip probably won't be
Able to get this.
eligible for the CFA because I'm sure most people have
Let,
already made a deposit.
let me say this. Those of you who are interested in that CFAR, send me an email. Please email me and let me see what I can do. Okay? I know D is interested. And I know the Daniels are interested, Mr. and Mrs. Daniels. Send me an email if you're interested. Send me an email and let me see what I can do. No
I,
promises, but let
I
me see
pay
what I can do.
Cliff, I pay my deposit on the 1st of April. So
Okay?
I'm in the range of 21 days still,
Which is tomorrow.
which is tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Okay.
right. So send me an email. And matter of fact, you don't even have to send me an email. Just you're in the 21 days. You can
Okay.
purchase it right on your own.
So
Do
I'm
it,
good.
do
Okay.
it today. You're good.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't even need yours. So those of you who have already paid, send me an email and let me see what I can do. Okay? No promises. I'm just gonna look
Okay.
into it.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Just send me an email and I'll see what I can do for you. And we'll take it from there. That's all I can tell you. If you're interested in the CFAR. So let me know.
So with each option that we chose, or it will send the insurance higher.
Now let me ask you this. You haven't purchased the insurance yet, have you?
I have not.
Okay. Then send me, now you're interested in doing, you are going, okay, send me an email if you're interested in purchasing the insurance and you've already paid your deposit. Send me an email.
Okay.
All right. And I'll let me see what I can do.
So if we already made the deposit and want to purchase the insurance minus the CFAR,
Mhm.
do we need to send an email?
No,
Okay.
no. You can just go ahead and purchase.
Okay.
Those are only for the ones who are interested in that in the CFAR.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll see what I can do. No promises. But again, this is something where I was trying to get Lisa from my God, I was trying to get her for months. Trust me, she is very, very hard to get a hold of because I knew she had pertinent information that she needed to share with us. And I was emailing her for since November, since November to come. The only date she had was this date. She said, the only time I'm available is April 19th. So this is the date. So folks, this is the only time I could get her. Because normally she's out, she is the Eastern, I believe she's the Eastern Division
Right.
salesperson for Travel Insured. And she's normally out of the country. And this is the only date I could get her for. So yes, she's a very difficult person to get a hold of, but she's very knowledgeable, as you can see, and she knows her work. So that being said, let me see what I can do because it is based on your deposit date, and let me see what else I'll see what we can do.
Well, let me bring some. Let me share another perspective here. Uh, Even with all that has happened in the Middle East so far, the bombings, all of that, Egypt has not been interrupted at all.
No,
So this is what
no.
I want to kind of put a little bit of water on the fire here, because
Hmm.
Egypt has not been interrupted. Dubai had
To
been attacked. Let me just
a little
finish something.
extent, they have been.
Okay, let me finish something for a moment here, please. Egypt has not been interrupted. Right after the war began with the Iran attack in the United States, we had a representative, which you can go to the prior video, which we had here, and you could see Egypt was still having all of the excursions.
Hmm.
There was nothing. And here's the key reason why. Egypt does not have any bases, any military bases representing any countries. So they are
Hmm.
not on the list like Dubai or
Hmm.
like other countries that had American military bases. So this is not
Correct.
just arbitrary attacks. This is not indiscriminate, well, let's just decide to blow up somebody's base.
Hmm.
Egypt has no allegiance to America when it comes to military bases. So they are off the list when it comes to, well, let's attack them. Now Dubai had one, and I think another country that had another
Bahrain.
they were
Hmm.
attacked. And
Yeah.
Qatar, they were attacked because
Qatar.
they had
Yes.
military bases. So what we're
Yes.
talking about here
Saudi
today is something.
Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, they had military bases. All
Hmm.
these places with military bases connecting to the US were the possibility of the interruptions. But at the height of the attack, Egypt was completely uninterrupted. So I want to give you guys some words of encouragement here today. If things are now starting to calm down, which based on what we've been hearing, they're coming
Hmm.
to negotiations with this whole Iran situation. Once again, Egypt has not been interrupted. So when you go online to get your insurance, let's try to feel more encouraged that, well, if a war breaks out in Egypt, there's no reason for a war to break out in Egypt. Absolutely none, because Egypt is not representing the United States on any of these issues. So be comfortable to know that that's not a
Yes.
concern you're going to have. And that's why we
Yes.
had the last meeting, we had the representative from Egypt on the meeting, and he showed us video. He showed people still in excursions. He showed the pictures of the people that they took out that day, the hotels. Everything is working perfectly fine. All the Nile River, they're working perfectly fine because it's not in the region where any kind of activity is. So be comfortable and not feel that there's some, a major urgency that, well, I have to go ahead and get me insurance in that case.
Right.
So
Correct. And also, we just want to say that as far as where we're staying, we're staying the hotel we're staying is a beautiful hotel on the Nile River.
right in Egypt.
Um, yeah, in Egypt. And they have a cruise. Matter of fact, there's a little evening boat for a dinner cruise on the Nile. And we even matter of fact, we have like about 20 cabins available for our uh, for our cruise on the River Nile cruise. Uh, so you can recruit your friends, family, let them know, come. Um,
Sorry.
yeah, let them know it's safe. They can
Cliff,
come.
Cliff, are you running a special for the hotels?
Oh yes, that's right. If you can recruit someone, one of your family members or friends, we will even upgrade you to a suite that's on the 4-day stay in Cairo. Now that's just for the Cairo hotel. The ship that we're on, they only have like 3 or 4 suites, and so we can't upgrade you there. But the one in Cairo, we can upgrade you. It's a beautiful hotel if you ever get a chance to view it. And it is let's see, it's what is it? 40, it has like over it's 715 rooms available and 41 floors. It's a huge place. It's it's and it's it's has a mall connected to it. I mean, it's right there in the heart of Cairo. So it's beautiful. It's a wonderful place. We will be able to visit the pyramids, which we have planned. We have visit to Heliopolis SDA Church. We plan on going to the brand new museum. All the fare, the price that you paid covers the whole thing. We'll be visiting what else? Not only museums, but we will be having the laser light show Saturday night at the museum. Excuse me, no, at the pyramids.
Right.
So it's going to be a wonderful trip, and I'm looking forward to it. I've been there a few times, and each time it's been amazing.
That's right.
So
We're gonna all
yeah,
walk like an Egyptian when we get there. Be
So,
encouraged.
I know you said Egypt is not being directly affected because there are no American bases in Egypt, but indirectly,
So
to a point because they're saying that because of the war and the businesses were asked to close 2 hours earlier to conserve energy.
really, that's news to me. Where did you hear that?
I
You
heard
mean,
that shortly after the first meeting that we had a month ago, maybe like a week later, they said businesses in Egypt were closing 2 hours early because of fuel shortage.
Because of
Because
what?
because they because they because of the oil crisis.
Oh,
They were asked to close 2 hours early, businesses in
oh.
Egypt.
Hmm. All
I
right.
need to
Well,
go back and research that, but that's
I'll
what
check it.
and it's said it more than once.
I'll check it with our with George because I stay in contact with him. That's our counterpart. So I'll check with him and see what he says. But from my understanding, everything is normal there. So we'll see. I'll ask him and see how everything is. But I speak with him about once every 2 weeks. And last time I checked, he was saying everything was fine.
well,
So
yeah,
I'll ask.
I just checked that out, Cliff. It says as of March, but they close at 9 p.m.
Yes, they were closing early. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's at
Mm.
9 p.m. But that's not interrupting any of the excursions or interrupting any of that, because we're not going to
Okay.
be at 9 p.m. at night. We would have
Oh,
already been back from the pyramids and all of those excursions in that respect. And
Okay.
the museums will most likely be closed by that time anyway. I think they close around
Right.
5 o'clock. So,
All right.
so I'll put the link in the chat here so you could just look at it.
Okay.
So that those of you that, thank you for making that point. We want to make sure that we, in the chat here, I'll put that so you can follow this link. And, well, not that. That's not the one I want to share.
All right.
It will burn me. If it's
Anyway. All right. Well,
Wait,
yes.
McFarlane here again.
Yes.
I know the Middle East, there is a little different when it comes to their culture. Is there any particular clothes that, well, we're not worried about us men, but with women that is prohibited or uh, maybe
Only,
not allowed?
well, only, no. Only when you get to certain sites. Now, Egypt is considered to be, well, let's put it this way. They're not as strict as other nations, but when you get to certain sites, holy sites is what they ask that uh, you do not leave your shoulders open or your
head
your
cover.
skirts. Your skirts must be below your knees
Yeah,
and
modesty.
cover your shoulders. But in
Just
certain
go.
cases, you do have to cover your head. But that's in certain holy sites.
Right.
That's not everyday. That's not an everyday walking around type thing. Because Egypt, if you need to understand now, Egypt, they have people coming from all around the world. As a matter of fact, that is a tourist section. That's their biggest income is tourists. Besides, the second largest, I mean, the number one largest income is tourists. So they have people come from around the world. And so they're used to seeing people come from everywhere. And so they're used to people coming dressed in certain certain styles with less clothes than most, I guess. But the fact is that in holy sites, they ask you to dress appropriately. But being out and about, no, you can dress normal or dress like what you do here. Just when you get to certain sites, they do ask you to dress to
So
cover yourself.
it's advisable that maybe they bring a shot. What's it called?
Shawl or scarf.
Yeah.
Shawl. Yeah, shawl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they do, and if you don't, they do provide one there.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
Yeah.
can so on the only side, so if you're out on a normal shopping day,
Yeah.
about your own business, I know the last meeting we had, they were saying like skirts or shorts above the knee are not permitted.
Right. Right. You have
So
to.
can you wear shorts above the knee? Because the gentleman asked, he was not worried about what the men wear, but men do wear short above the knee also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are that allowed in public places other than the holy sites?
No, you're allowed. You can walk around with that with shorts above the knee.
The holy
It's
sites you have to
right.
cover.
The holy sites are different now. The
Okay,
holy sites are different. You do have
okay.
to cover yourself below the knee.
Even
But
even the men?
yeah,
Okay.
yes, even the
Okay.
men.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's something that we've experienced, my wife and I, in different parts of the world. And in Israel, I had to wear a yarmulke. Uh, my wife had to wear a scarf. When we were in Thailand, we had to take our shoes off. So it depends on what their requirements are. But when you walk on the streets, there's no requirements, not even in Dubai.
Oh yeah.
So
Now, Angie, is there something in the chat that could you check the
I can,
chat for me?
No, and there's no questions.
no question.
Everything.
The question from Faith in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Faith says,
answered.
"This is for Angie, please. May I have a receipt?"
Oh, Faith, this is. May I have a receipt for what?
Maybe 4 deposits.
Yeah, for my payment.
But that
I
wouldn't come
need
from Angie.
yeah, I need a third to Angie.
Yeah, well,
Me?
she's not. Yeah, that would come
The
from.
Whoever
other Angela.
whoever does
Oh, maybe it's the other Angela. Oh,
Oh,
yeah, whoever does the
oh, okay,
whoever does
okay. I got it. Yeah, I'll that's my Angela here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I have two Angelas. I have my sister Angela and my wife Angela.
Okay.
I'm stuck with Angelas.
That's right. Can't get away
Oh, you're
from that.
blessed with Angelas.
Depends on how you look at it, right? Okay.
Any
All
other
right, but
any other
let's see.
questions?
Any other questions?
And are there anyone new here for the first time? I was in Florida and there's some people said they want to come on today. So I'm just wondering, is anyone here?
I'm not new, but I have a question, please.
Sure.
Sure.
All right. Nothing's ever been posted yet about the um, optional excursions. My question is on Sunday, day 11, is the day that we have an option for a sunrise hot air balloon, but there's also the Valley of the Kings scheduled that same morning. Is the balloon ride going to be over by the time that tour begins?
You know, it's a good question. I believe it is because that balloon ride
Early.
is very early.
Yep.
That balloon ride is before sunrise.
Yes, and I understand that. I just want to be sure that that is being considered.
You know what? That's a very good question. I'll check on that. I'll see.
Because we
But
do not want to miss the Valley of the Kings, but we want to do the balloon ride. So I was
I believe it
wondering if,
is.
Hi.
Here's what we'll do. I'll work along with Clifford
Hello?
and yes, here's what we'll do to
I don't know
ensure
why
that
I can't hear him.
I'll work along with Clifford and Angela, and we'll put that on the website on the optional activities. You'll have the times there so you could schedule whatever you're going to.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I'll check on that. Balloon ride. What time? Yeah.
okay, yeah, what time and, will we be back in time to do the regular tour? I noticed that that tour is in the morning and if the balloon ride won't be back in time, I wonder if that tour could be done in the afternoon instead, after lunch.
No, I think you'll be back in time because that balloon ride is about, I mean, the balloon ride, I think you have to be there you have to get up about 4 in the morning. I
Okay.
think, I think,
Yeah.
and you've got to be out there by 5 because it's like sunrise.
Okay, and I know it's an hour long, so it makes
Yeah,
sense we would be back, so.
yeah. It's going to be unforgettable. That's a sunrise balloon ride, so you're going to see some
Okay.
things there, and
Okay,
you should be back in time for the. Now you probably be falling asleep when when you get to the Valley of the Kings, being up so
okay,
early. But no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The Valley. Now
okay,
I've been to the Valley of the Kings. That is one site you don't want to miss. Get your cameras out. It is beautiful. You're gonna see a lot.
okay.
So,
And do you know the cost for the balloon ride yet?
mm,
We have to look into that because
I'll check into that one. I'll let you know.
if it's not on the
Thank you.
website, if it's not on the website yet, we don't have that information. We'll
Yeah.
be able to
Okay.
put details there. Okay, great.
I have a question regarding hotel accommodations. Um, so if for the flights out, I think we're leaving on the 19th. But I was looking at flights and for if we're gonna fly Air Egypt or Egyptian Airlines, that leaves out of JFK daily, 7 days a week. But for the ones who lives in the DMV area, which means DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, you're going to fly out of Dallas. Um,
Mhm.
that Egypt air doesn't leave every day. They leave maybe like 3 or 4 days per week.
Mhm.
And so we'd have to fly out maybe at least by Tuesday to get there in time. Tuesday morning or Tuesday, and they leave at night. So if we leave at Tuesday night, we'll get there by Wednesday in time. And so for the hotel accommodation, we have to pay extra for those 2 days. And
Mm.
then the trip part will kick in on the Thursday.
Say that again.
You want to
So
So,
if we're
listen to
gonna fly out,
that?
if we're flying out of Dallas,
uh-huh.
the Egypt Air leaves some dollars like 3 or 4 days per week.
So what days?
Not daily. So we'll
Okay.
have to, and if we want to fly it on Thursday, if the certain third on Thursday, that means we'll have to leave by at least Tuesday.
So let me hold on. Let me find out here. So they out of Dulles, Egypt Air flies out three days out of the week. They don't fly out every day,
No,
correct?
they do from JFK, but not from Dallas.
Okay. So the days that they do fly out, do you know the days that they do fly out? Is
I
it
look online and I see the days.
It's the 17th of November because I'm flying out of DC also.
Right.
17th?
It's that
Okay.
Tuesday, the 17th. Yes.
Right. So we'll have to leave on the
Ah.
17th to get there on time for the 19th.
So okay, I see. So you
Right.
have to, so you get there on the 18th.
Right. Get there the afternoon of the 18th.
Okay.
Oh.
And so we have to pay out of our pocket for that 1 or 2 days of hotel accommodation. And coming back is going to be the same thing too. We have to come back not on the, I think it's on the 30th, but we'll have to
Exactly.
come back on the 1st of December. We've got to fly back out on December 1st if we're going to fly back into Dallas.
No, I'm flying
According
back
to the
to
time, right. So those days we got to those days is coming from out of our pocket, our own, I'm not from the vacation package. I'm assuming.
Let me look into that one for you. I'm writing this down. So you'll have the 18th, you'll get in on the 18th.
Right. And we got to leave on the 1st of December.
Yeah.
I'm leaving on the 30th.
You're
We
leaving
can't leave
on
on the 30th because at the time when the airline leave the flight to come back to Dallas
Okay, wait,
does not leave on the
hold
30th.
hold
Leave on
My
the
hold
1st.
ticket is scheduled to come back on the 30th.
hold on. Let me ask you, Charles, what time does your flight leave to go back?
Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Okay. Because it all depends on what time your flight. If you have a flight leaving at 1 p.m. on the 30th, then you should be good. 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. You should be good.
I think it is like 6 a.m. in the morning on the 1st.
Well, all right. We will
Let me make a
work on that.
suggestion. Let me make a suggestion here.
Mm-hmm.
These are the kind of details that Cliff one-to-one could work with you. They're not
Yeah.
imperative for the meeting. So
No,
I
we
don't
can
want to
work.
have just
We can
hold
work.
people
We
on
can
here.
work. Right. We can work on that
Directly.
directly. Exactly.
Because this meeting was primarily about the insurance. And I think that travel connections and all that with Angela, his wife, they could work along with you on that to make sure those are
All right.
viable.
Okay. Well, we work on that. Meanwhile, Charles is working on that. Is there any other questions?
Somebody
Yeah,
said, will
there's
Sdavacations take care of our Egypt
no,
visa?
no. Before that, from JT says traveling through Heathrow. Do you need a travel visa? Not when you're going through
Not
the
when you're going
airport.
through airport, no.
We just
No.
went through Heathrow.
No, only
But
if you're
the
leaving the
question,
airport.
John, read the question.
It says, traveling through Heathrow, do you need a travel visa?
No,
No.
not that one. not that
The
one.
other one, will SDA take care of our Egypt visa, or do we need to take care of that?
No, we'll take care of that. We'll take care of your Egypt visa.
I thought so.
Yes, SDA Vacations we'll take care of your Egypt visa. So you don't have to worry about that. That's included in your price.
Okay.
So don't worry about that. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, well,
So I think that should be it, other than if I don't know if Charles, have you come up with
I have it. Returning on the 30th
yeah,
at 23:55, which is what?
11, oh, that's 12
At
o'clock
midnight.
Yeah,
that's 12
yeah.
12 o'clock at night.
That's still the 30th of November.
Okay.
What
So
airport are you flying into?
And arriving back at 5 o'clock at Dulles.
okay, there you go.
Okay.
All right. So we'll let me get back with both of you guys on the 18th.
Okay.
Let me look into that one.
Yeah, because we'll be arriving at 5:25 on the.
Do me a favor, please. Could both of you email me your time of arrival so I can see if I can make arrangements for you guys on the 18th?
Sure.
And what's your email? It's in the chat or?
Yeah, let me see.
SDAvacations@gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay. sdavacation@gmail.com.
Yes. I need your time of arrival on the 18th so I can make sure somebody's there to pick you up
Vacations with an S
with an
Yes,
S.
with an
at
S.
gmail.com.
.com.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
The gentleman who was have you purchased your tickets already for who was traveling from Dallas?
Yes.
Okay.
There we go. All right. Any other questions?
I think we've covered the insurance part, and if it's personal questions, I think Clifford Marr and Angela could respond to you on those.
Now, yes, I think
But-
we're just about done. Let's see. I wanted to mention that. What else? I think we're covered on that. I'm trying to remember if there's anything that we need to cover. John, you have anything?
No, we don't. We don't have. We've covered the purpose of this meeting today was primarily for the insurance. On the last meeting, what I recommend strongly is go back and if you were not a part of the last video, go back and look at that. A lot of questions were answered there.
Yes.
But some of the things that were raised today that we're going to put on the website are the additional or the optional activities. That's something that we haven't put on the website yet, which is about the balloon ride and whatever else may be available. And Clifford would check with the local organizer to find out at each of these locations what are the optional activities that are not connected with our plan. And that's the key, because we don't want to put optional activities and have anything clash with our plan. So look at the schedule, the itinerary on the website, and if you're planning any activities at all, make sure it doesn't clash with the times that are listed on our itinerary, because you can't be in two places at one time. And so those are the things that we're not responsible for. If you make a plan, if you plan an excursion and pay for it, and it clashes with the times on our schedule, we can't reschedule you and have a personal tour. That means you have to decide between one or the other. So we want to make sure that everything that is paid for, that's a part of our itinerary, you don't override that and say, well, I have a balloon ride, I can't go now. You'll have to either do the balloon ride or do the excursion, because we can't reschedule you for your own personal museum tour. That'll be on you. So those are the things we want to make sure that as we put the optional activities, we're only going to put things that don't clash with our schedule.
Correct.
All right?
Or we can do like Solomon, cut the baby in half. Just kidding.
Well, that baby will be in two pieces, but neither piece will be understanding anything.
Okay. All right. So let's see, how many months are we? Like what, 6 months away now?
April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 7 months?
7 months. Okay. So
May,
we're 7 months away.
August, September, October, November. Yeah.
7 months away. So we've got a couple more meetings to go. We're gonna do maybe 2 more meetings.
Okay.
Yeah. So
well, thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
Once again, this recording will be on the website starting tomorrow.
Yes.
You can go back and look at anything that Lisa from the travel agency talked about. And you could follow her example. You could click along with her as you look at the video, and make sure that as you set these forms or fill them out, that you'll be following them accordingly. All right?
Okay. Pastor John, would you mind?
Sure. Let's have a
ending in a word of prayer.
Yes. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for just giving us the understanding that we needed today. There's so many pieces to the puzzle whenever we are planning any kind of excursion or cruise or trip, and we want to be able to dot our I's and cross our T's. There are still some variables, so we're going to look into those things that we can make sure that each of us has a peace of mind about what we have invested in, and that we can once again have our minds at peace to know that we are living in a world that's always changing. There's always something new about it that we either like or do not like. But as we have made a decision to put you first, we pray that you'll guide this entire trip, that you'll protect the investment, and that you'll make sure that we get to Egypt and back without any incident, any loss, any medical issues, or any kind of unforeseen incident that will cause damage or harm. Thank you for Clifford and Angela. We pray that you'll give them strength every day and wisdom to guide, as they are the founders and directors of Sdavacations. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
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 All right. Thank you all for joining us.
Have a blessed day, everyone.
Yes. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Have a good
Keep
week.
just keep your eyes out for next meeting.
Okay.
And
All
check your emails, because periodically we send out notices, just a general mail. We're going to probably send out one to reiterate this meeting, but we just check with that so that you'll be informed ahead of time. God bless.
right.
Have a blessed day.
All right. Take care, everyone. God bless you. Bye-bye.